Welcome to another episode of Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton, and on this episode, we will be talking a little Chicago Bears as they host the AFC South's Tennessee Titans. And I wanted to bring on someone that knows a little bit about the Chicago Bears. That would be Team MBS Media's Kristy Love. What's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. We're going to get to the Bears, talk about the preseason, talk about the new faces, and also talk about this matchup as we, go along through the show. But first, with every show, we have the Get Off Your Chest segment. And the Get Off Your Chest segment, I'm going to talk about, I have something, and I know Kristy has something, but I'm going to talk about Bill Belichick. Now, Bill Belichick was one of the most boring coaches of all time. Didn't even do social media. He called it Instaface, is what he calls it. He calls it
crazy.
So he calls it Instaface. It's Instagram, Facebook. He just combined both of them and call them Instaface. But anyway, he never was on it. Never really did any interviews, was really boring in his interviews. Now he retires. All of a sudden, he's everywhere. He's on the Pat McAfee show. He's on Inside the NFL. He's doing a podcast with Peyton Manning. He's showing up on Monday Night Football this year with the Manning cast. I'm like, okay, what happened, Mr. Bill Belichick? But we're not going to stop there. He actually has joined Instaface. No, I'm just joking. It's not Instaface. He actually announced on the Pat McAfee show that he joined Instagram. And he really did join Instagram. It actually is him on there. And he actually put the Pat McAfee announcement on there as well. So Bill Belichick into social media. Wow, things you would never have on your bingo card for the year 2024. Better yet, you wouldn't have that on your bingo card for the last couple decades. Yet here he is, Bill Belichick, ladies and gentlemen, the social media star. What you got, Kristy?
For the segment, I really want to talk to the Chicago Bears fans for two reasons. One, we really have to stop the Justin Fields and Caleb Williams debate. Like, Justin Fields been gone off the Bears since March, and it's already September. Do the math on that. That's like 5-6 months. So I feel like, especially the Bears is not playing the Steelers this year, we need to stop the comparison between the two. Caleb is our quarterback. We all accepted it, even me, because I was a Justin Fields fan. I still am, apparently. But we just have to stop. It's pointless. At one point, it did divide us as a fan collective. So we just have to just let it go. Let it go. Caleb is the guy. He's our QB number one going forward. And we have to just accept it for what it is in hopes he lead us into getting a ring. So I do want to say that for one. Then the second thing is I've learned over the past couple of weeks that it's a lot of people that cover the Chicago Bears that are content creators, such as myself. And I feel like I don't see a lot of us collabing together and, doing interviews or doing each other's shows. And it's like I've seen online people are hating on other podcasts about the Bears and stealing their content, stealing their ideas, and cracking jokes and making slur, all types of stuff. And it's just like why? Like, the platform is big enough for all of us to align with each other and to do something great if we really wanted to. So I feel like, why are we beefing with other people that cover the Bears? I'm not beefing with nobody. Okay, I'm not. But I've seen on Twitter, I see that often. One podcast that I listen to a lot, they said on their podcast that people are hating on them, and it's been troll accounts making negative comments on their podcast platform. It's just, why are y'all like that? Why? So I just feel like hopefully one day we can all come together and do something amazing with the platform that we all have.
Yeah, the phrase "everybody can eat, we all can eat" is definitely one that needs to probably be said. Yeah, that is definitely something that bears to watch when it comes to the Chicago Bears and the fandom and things like that. But what also was bearing to be watched was the preseason excitement.
Yes.
Mr. Caleb Williams was on the field. He's going to be on the field. But now he wasn't on the field quite as much as anyone would love, but he was out there. So what did you think of the preseason play of Caleb Williams when you saw him on the field?
Honestly, I'm somebody that I have to see it to believe it. Like, I know Caleb Williams was great in college. I know he is a generational talent. He got a good arm. He can use his legs, things like that. So seeing him on the field, um, it's like, okay, this man is really the truth. However, like I said on my podcast, I believe when he was on the field playing, you don't know if who he's playing against is a starter or not. So I feel like that does play a part in how he performed, but he looked good, to say the least. Like, he looked really good. One play against the Buffalo Bills when he did that pass to Swift, that no look pass over the shoulder. That was like my favorite play during the preseason of his, because he did that so effortlessly. It's like, okay, Caleb, I see you. And then a lot of fans talk about the game against the Bengals when he ran in for that touchdown. That was a good moment too. Also during the preseason, he showed signs of trusting the offensive line, because the Bears have always had issues with our offensive line, and I can honestly say the line looked okay during the preseason. Hopefully it sticks going forward, but Caleb shows that he trusts his line, he trusts his players so far in the preseason. So he looked good for what he played. I think he had like 40 snaps all throughout preseason. And I mean, he looked good. I felt like he could have played more. I know the Hall of Fame game starters don't play. Mm-hmm. The game against the Bills, I think he played like a quarter or a couple of series. And then the game against Cincinnati, he played a whole half. I honestly wanted him to play more in the game against Kansas City. I get it why they, set the starters, but I felt like we could have got a few more snaps at least, in the last preseason game against Kansas City, but now it's time to play with the big dogs on Sunday. Take the training wheels off. It's time to play. And he says all the time that he's not nervous. He don't get nervous. He don't get scared. So put your money where your mouth is, because now you're going against teams that have good defenses, like actual starters, vets that's in the game. So we're gonna see. I'm not worried. He'll play good. Come week one, I feel like he'll probably run the ball a little bit more than passing to DeAndre Swift, but we'll see. So far,
right.
okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So I'm gathering that, I did have a question here about the Bears and playing their starters. So I'm gathering you felt they probably should have played their starters just a little bit more to get a little bit more rhythm and things like that.
Yes. To get more of the kinks out, because honestly, being a Bears fan, I feel like you have some sort of PTSD. Because if I remember correctly, a few years ago, I don't even think the Bears played their starters in the preseason back when we had Trubisky. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I remember. I almost remember that. And then that season when we had Trubisky, I think it was his last year or two, we wasn't in rhythm come week one. We was just all over the place. And I just don't want that to happen going forward, especially when we have everything we need to be successful, to be a playoff team, to be a top contending team on both sides of the ball. So that's why I want them to play more in the preseason, just to get more rhythm. So we're like on top when it's time to play. Like, no excuses at all. Like, we have zero excuses from the head coach down to the kicker, the snapper, the whole night. Like, no excuse. We have to be on our A game. Like, that's just what it is.
Gotcha. I understand.
Yeah.
And then the last question I did have for you in this first little bit about preseason is the surprise player. I know there were some surprise players out there that you were looking at like, okay, cool. They made the team. Okay. Didn't expect that, but looking forward to what they can bring. What were one of those players that you kind of looked at and like, okay, cool, I'm waiting to see what you bring to this team?
If you know me, you might know my answer to this. But one player, and he's still on his rookie contract, I found out. But one player that we decided to keep is Velus Jones Jr. You know, the past couple of years, he's been our wide receiver. And granted, we were struggling with passing the past couple of years. Granted, we had Luke Getsy as our offensive coordinator. However, when our previous quarterback gave him an opportunity to make plays with the ball, he always fell short in the end zone. So the Bears decided to switch him over from being a receiver to being a running back. So, I mean,
sounds like a Hail Mary for his career right now.
Huh?
Sounds like a Hail Mary for his career right now.
Yes. So I think it was the last preseason game against the Kansas City Chiefs. He got like 2 touchdowns, and over like 50 yards. So I felt like that is what solidified his spot on the roster. But honestly, if it doesn't work out, he needs to go. He had too many chances. And I have a podcast I just started. On a podcast, I've listed 18 players the Bears kept from the 1st to the 5th round. And he's one of those players, so I get it. But, we have him. So he's one player that I'm surprised we kept. One other player I'm surprised, well, I won't say surprised, but that we decided to bring back is Austin Reed. I felt like I'm glad he came back. I was kind of like surprised they cut him at first. Like, oh, you're only going to keep 2 QBs, not 3. I feel like, we could benefit from having 3 quarterbacks, but the Bears did bring him back to the practice squad. I also wish that Brett Rippon could have stayed. I feel like he showed his behind off in the Hall of Fame game too, but he went on and signed with Minnesota. And we went ahead and kept Austin Reed, which is not a bad pickup at all. He played well in the preseason too. So just those 2 players.
Okay. All right. And the podcast that Kristy loves talking about is Foul on the Play podcast. That will be with the Team MBS Media that is out every week, correct?
Yes.
All right.
So
all right.
I just did a Chicago Bears preview of this coming up season. It released yesterday. It released what's today?
It released yesterday. We'll go with this week. All right.
This week, so it will be released weekly after that. So make sure you guys tune in to Team MBS Media on YouTube to check that out. Okay.
All righty. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new pieces of the Chicago Bears on Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are 2 of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off all these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get these the EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash.
All right, and we are back on Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. And like I mentioned before in the commercial break, we were going to talk about these new pieces for the Chicago Bears. Now, of course, every team made an adjustment. Every team made a addition to the team. And, of course, the Chicago Bears did so as well. In doing so, of course, they brought in some vets, some trusted veterans on the team, and one of those is Mr. Keenan Allen, the veteran wide receiver from the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I'm going to start calling them the the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles, because they still should probably be in San Diego. But Keenan Allen, I'll get to that one of these days. But Keenan Allen is there, and he's a veteran voice in the room. How excited are you for him to be in addition to the team and to add to this team?
Oh, I'm very excited. That was a huge move the Chicago Bears made in the offseason. He's somebody that can get you 1,000 yards a season. He still got some in the trunk. Granted, he is battling an injury right now, but he is somebody that can help Roma Dunze become better. He can still give pointers to DJ Moore and wide receiver. So it's a really good move. Great player on off the field, locker room presence. So I'm very excited. He is going to be explosive, and I just can't wait to see him officially on Sunday.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that can move the chains for sure. He's not necessarily the fastest guy, but he's going to find a way to get open. He's kind of reminds me of a more skilled version of. This is going to sound great, because I know some people are going to look at me like, well, "Would you really just say that?" But Tyler Boyd and him are not the fastest guy. Which Tyler Boyd plays for the Titans are not. They're not necessarily the fastest guys, but they always find ways to get open. So Keenan Allen definitely is one of those guys. Now defensively, what's that?
Oh, nothing.
Hello, what'd you say?
Nothing.
Okay, all right. Sorry. Now as far as the defensively, for the Chicago Bears, of course, they did add a former Tennessee Titan to the roster as well. Now that former Tennessee Titan is Mr. Kevin Byard. Now, Kevin Byard is a veteran safety. He played for the Tennessee Titans for a while. Then he got traded, to the Philadelphia Eagles. Didn't necessarily play great for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's with the Chicago Bears. Now, I know you've seen the play of him with the Tennessee Titans and then the Bears. Are you a little nervous about some of the potential play from Philly kind of transferring over to Chicago, or are you hoping you get the Tennessee Titans version of Kevin Byard there?
I'm definitely going to hope for the Tennessee Titan version. Yeah, he didn't play well. It didn't go well in Philly, but I feel like Chicago might be a better fit for him. Yes, he's a veteran player. He's good with getting turnovers. So I feel like, he'll be a lot better than he was in Philly for sure. We brought him on to replace Eddie Jackson, who we let go in the offseason due to, injuries and whatnot. So as long as he can stay healthy and be effective, I feel like it'll be a good fit. We'll get him right for sure. So I'm not worried. Maybe come week 7 or 8 and he's not producing anything for real, I might be like, okay, what's really going on? But right now I feel like it's a good fit so far. So we'll see.
All right. Another guy, I know you did a video on this gentleman, that'd be Mr. Darrell Taylor.
Yes.
The Chicago Bears traded for him this offseason. Well, sorry, during training camp, they traded for him and brought in the preseason from the Seattle Seahawks, brought him in to compete to be the defensive end opposite of Mr. Montez Sweat. So I know there's expectations out there for him, being that he'll be, get the opportunity to be the full-time guy. What are your thoughts on Darrell Taylor? I mean, I've watched him since he was at the University of Tennessee before he got drafted. So I've definitely known him to be a guy that can be explosive at times. So what do you expect from him? Do you expect explosive things? Do you expect him to be a Robin to Montez Sweat's Batman?
Yes, absolutely. I expect to see a lot of explosive plays during the season. With that spot next to Montez, it's still open. So like I stated before, it's probably going to be like a rotation of different players to see who is the best fit. But I honestly feel like Darrell Taylor is the best fit. We didn't trade for him to be second string, in my opinion. We still have the rookie, Austin Booker, who's fighting for that spot too. But Darrell Taylor more likely is going to get the starting spot next to Montez. But we won't know officially until like mid-season who's gonna have that official starting job. But Daryl Taylor is explosive. He's great. I think last season he had like 5 to 6 sacks, 11 assists, and I expect to see that plus more next to Montez. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I honestly expect him to be that Robin next to Montez for sure. It just makes sense.
Got you. Okay. All right. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into the matchup that everybody wants to talk about. That would be the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans on Touring. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Talking noise already. All right. On Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right, and we are back on Touring the AFC South. And before the break, of course, our guest, Kristy Love, mentioned that they were going to smoke the Tennessee Titans. And, of course, that is her right to say that. But we're going to get into this episode talking about the different matchups, of course. First, how excited are you for it to finally be the first game? And it's the home opener at that.
I'm very excited. I was just thinking earlier today, like I haven't seen this much excitement around football to start in like ever, in my opinion. Maybe it's because we got social media now, but that's how I feel. I'm excited. We're playing on our home turf, new quarterback, new team, new coaches, new everything. Hopefully a new stadium coming soon. But until then, it's exciting. I'm just grateful that, we get to see a new start to this team. Last year we shown a lot of potential and to be great. So with the new everything we have on this team, I'm just excited to finally get the ball rolling and actually see what this team is about instead of just talking about it.
Okay. All right. Well, we got to talk about it just a little bit more before the game time. So, I have a few questions, a few things I want to run over with you. Okay. Defensively, I've got to ask you just about this team. The Titans had a makeover this offseason. They brought in Tony Pollard, out went Derrick Henry, which a lot of people were either happy or sad about. Mm-hmm. In came Tony Pollard from the Cowboys. In came Calvin Ridley. In came Tyler Boyd from the Bengals. And, they bring in Lloyd Cushenberry, the top center on the market. They draft J.C. Latham. They brought in a lot of different pieces to help Will Levis in this offense. So with all these different weapons compared to your defense, the Chicago Bears and what they have available, does that kind of make you a little bit nervous about what they have in terms of the Titans offensively this year compared to last?
Not really, because one, we have a Jalen Johnson. Mm-hmm. We have Jalen Johnson, and he is amazing at what he do. We have Kyler Gordon, we got Jaquan Brisker. Our secondary is nice. Is nice. Besides, you guys did get a lot of weapons. Getting Tony Pollard was a great pickup. He got like over 1,000 yards last season with Dallas. He said you got Kyle Ridley. Y'all got weapons. But our defense is elite. I really trust our defense. Our defense, in my opinion, is ahead of our offense. So I we can definitely keep up with you guys. And then you guys have D-Hop. I'm not sure if he's playing this Sunday because he's hurt.
It's trending towards he might be playing.
Okay, and even if he does play, he's not going to be 100%. So we're not going to be worried about that either. So I feel like our defense will match up pretty good with you guys' offense. And then you got Will Levis. He has a good arm. He can throw.
Mm-hmm.
But we just got to stop the pass. If we can stop the pass, then we're good.
Okay. All right. All right. In the past, they probably would have never said that, stop the pass. But, this offense is definitely going to be a pass first offense more this year. So that'll be interesting. And it'll also be interesting just the matchups that they're able to create, especially with a guy that's the former offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals being the head coach now.
Yeah.
Also, you spoke about Will Levis. Of course, a lot of people are down on him in terms of talking about how he plays and, not necessarily being the greatest of quarterbacks and, the different things that happened last year. But, in my opinion, he just needs more time because he's just not going to jump in there and be a great guy. And then plus, also, the offensive line wasn't necessarily great last year.
Yeah.
So with all these weapons and all these different things and kind of just seeing what they've added, are you concerned that Will Levis may be using this game as maybe his coming out party or his way to announce himself to the NFL just a little bit more like he did last year against the Falcons in his first game?
4 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
He could. I can see him doing that again this season. Because the Bears were a great team on paper and I feel like off paper. And I can see him using this game playing against a great Bears defense as his coming out game. He has, like I said, great weapons. You guys loaded him up. Kind of like here in Chicago with Caleb Williams. We got him great pieces around too. So he definitely can. He's in his second year. So like you said, it takes time. But I feel like this year has to be the year where he definitely shows some progression. Like we have no excuses. We have a great running back, good receivers, a couple of good receivers. So he can. He definitely can. I can see him doing that.
Okay. All right. And we're going to switch over to the offense. Now, the offense has a couple guys they got to deal with. And that would be Mr. Jeffrey Simmons, and that'd probably be Mr. Tavondre Sweat in the middle of that defense. That's about 700 pounds of beef in there. It's 650 at least.
Sheesh.
So dealing with that inside and being that the issues that the Chicago Bears offensive line has had, most notably former Titan Nate Davis, by the way. So are you a little concerned about those guys inside wreaking a little havoc on the Bears offensive line?
A little bit. I'm always going to be concerned about the Bears offensive line lining up with these defenses. I'm always, because at least me, I'm not just confident, 100% confident in our offensive line. So yes, I'm a little bit worried. You need to protect Caleb. Yes, he can go in and out the pocket. He can maneuver well, but protect him. Protect him. So do your job. And Nate Davis needs to stay healthy. That's like one of the biggest keys. How you start the preseason hurt, So if he can stay healthy, if our line can just do their job and block and stop them from rushing, then I feel like we'll be okay. But I'm a little worried. It looked promising. It looked promising in the preseason a little bit, but we haven't seen the official roster play yet. So we'll see. We'll see. So yes, a little bit worried, but we'll get the job done.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Another thing that's going to be interesting is how Caleb Williams does. Now, a lot of people are looking at him to come out and, kind of bank on that generational talent, but also on the flip side of that, there's been another guy that has been said to be a generational talent, and he's still trying to get there. That guy's name is Trevor Lawrence. So you could have one or the other happen. So what are you kind of expecting from Caleb Williams in his first game, home opener?
I expect him to do a lot of run plays. I know we're going to be looking at him throwing the ball, but we have DeAndre Swift. He can also catch the ball as well as run with it. So I expect to see some run plays. I won't really expect to see a lot of explosive deep thrown plays from Caleb just yet. It is week 1. But needless to say, It will be a pretty solid game. It's not going to be like, oh my God, he done this. I don't expect anything like explosive like that. I just don't. Well, if it happens, cool. But it's week 1, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens. But I don't expect anything extravagant as of right
Mm-hmm.
now. He'll play a really really good game though. So.
Got you. So, who are your key players for the Chicago Bears going into this one? Do you have one key player offensively or defensively for them in this game to bring home the win?
Key players for the offense outside of Caleb. I guess I'll say DJ Moore. He's gonna be hungry to get the ball and run with it, to get yards and to score. Yeah, probably DJ Moore outside of Caleb. And on our defensive side of the ball, Jalen Johnson. Our secondaries, look out for Montez too. He's definitely going to be out there trying to go against the pass. So probably those couple of players.
All right. The one guy I'm looking forward I'm looking forward to is L'Jarius Sneed versus DJ Moore. Box office. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that.
He'll get past. He'll get
Now we'll tell you this. Nobody got past him last year. He gave up 0 touchdowns last year. So this ought to be really interesting to see this matchup. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it and looking forward to seeing it up close in person because I'll definitely be there checking out the games. So Got you. So we have reached the end of the show, talking about the games and talking about the matchup. But of course, we don't end the show with just talking about matchups. We have a game. It's 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We got 2 Kendrick Lamar albums. We got Good Kid, Mad City, or Damn. Okay. Which album are you taking? Good Kid, Mad City, or Damn? Now, do I need to give you songs on the albums too?
Yeah.
Kind of help. Okay. All right. Good Kid, Mad City had Don't Kill My Vibe, had Poetic Justice, Money Trees, and Swimming Pools. Damn had DNA, Humble, Love, and Loyalty.
Good Kid, Mad City was like young Kendrick, like when he first got in the game, and then Damn was like a seasoned Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. Probably. You can't go wrong with either one. You just can't.
Right.
You know what? I'm probably gonna say Damn.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn.
Okay.
One of my favorites is Elements on that album. I love that.
Okay.
Song. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna roll with that one. Next one up, DeMar DeRozan or Derrick Rose. Which Bulls player do you like the most?
Derrick Rose. I love DeMar, but Derrick Rose was different. The youngest MVP ever in the NBA. Come on now. Like, Derrick Rose came in and was effing niggas up.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. The next question is deep dish pizza or Garnett's popcorn. Which one is more overrated in your opinion?
Deep dish. You will never hear Chicago and say they want some deep dish pizza. I'm just being you're not. You're not.
Okay.
You got Beggars, Italian Fiesta. I forgot who else, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna pick 2 songs off an album because I assumed you would pick that album. Wow. Okay. DNA or Loyalty. Which song would you take?
DNA.
Okay. All right. And okay. Been a long day. You need something to relax. Action movie or comedy movie to relax?
Comedy.
All right. That's 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. You're off the hot seat. Kristy Love, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I want to give you a platform now to tell everyone what you're working on. Also to give everyone social media so that they can find you. The floor is yours.
Okay. You guys can follow me on TikTok at Kristy Love Sports. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Kristy Love. Follow my team MBS Media. I will be posting my shows, my podcast on there weekly. Follow the play. talking about, each game week after week. And also follow me on TikTok again at Kristy Loves Sports. I do picks of the week, and I do little TikTok videos about, some breaking news in Chicago Bears, I guess, fandom, Chicago Bears world. And I'm trying to grow my TikTok page too. So make sure you guys follow your girl. And that's it.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. Of course, I'm the host of the show, Mike Patton. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at MikePatton82. That's MikePatton 82 on the artist formerly known as Twitter. Word to Prince, one of the greatest artists of all time. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at that's THA, not THE, _general _NP. Of course, you can find Touring The AFC South on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. And we're also on YouTube, where you can see our lovely faces. And you can also subscribe and click the bell, so that way you get every notification when a new show drops. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Touring the AFC South. We're out. Peace.